wouldn't mind one more time again, your first memories of seeing a game in Arizona. I guess it was the old American Airlines Arena.
I haven't answered this question enough. 7 years. Yeah, I mean, a lot of good memories. Obviously, it's where I, kind of watched hockey for the first time, and the team I grew up watching. So it's always cool to play them, and whether it's at home or at home. So.
How much do you still track them, Auston? Like, or do you follow them as closely as you did when you were, coming into the league, or is it kind of dulled since you've been around?
I mean, I think you're pretty aware of like the teams and everything like throughout the league, where everybody stands, I guess, just because you're in the mix every day. But I see a lot of these guys in the summer. Some of these guys I played junior with, so they're close friends. So I always kind of keep an eye on them, I guess.
In the summer, did you work out at the new rink, or?
No.
You say you skate with those guys. What's been your perspective on Keller and his fight to get back now after that tough injury?
Yeah, I mean, I've known him for a while, and we're super close. We train a lot together in the summer, hang out. So, I went through something similar in junior where I broke my femur as well. So, it was definitely a tough. It's a tough thing to go through anytime you get injured, but obviously something that severe. So, you put in a lot of work this summer. And I think his main goal was to be back and be ready to play by the start of the season. And so, I'm happy that he's back and he's playing. And I think just as the season goes on, he's going to continue to feel better and better and feel more like himself. But obviously, when you go through a big injury like that and all the stuff, all the rehab that goes into it, it's not easy. So, he definitely put in a lot of work this summer, and you could see that.
What do you think of them playing at ASU? What would you imagine that would be like?
I don't know. I think it'll be pretty interesting. I think it'll be kind of cool for us, I guess, just because, I mean, it's one game for us and, just something different. But I don't know. It's pretty interesting, but, hopefully they make it work and, it works out for the time being until, something gets figured out.
What are those sometimes? Michael. What are those sometimes skates like? How many NHL guys are there? It's sort of a big region.
Yeah, there's quite a few guys that are there. I mean, not just guys on the team, but guys from around the league as well that have kind of, made Phoenix, I guess, their second home in the summer. Like to spend time there. I think a lot of these guys, like the golfing aspect of it in the summer and stuff, and they like to stick around. So, there's definitely been a pretty good group there. I think that group's grown too over the last couple of years, and it's been nice to have that, level of talent and level of NHL players there to skate with and train with in the summer.
I was going to say, what do you think makes Michael such a good patcher?
I think he just doesn't go away. I think he's just always in your face, and he's just so competitive, and he's not afraid of anybody. So I think that's one of the many things that kind of makes him, the player that he is, and the guy that can obviously get under your skin.
Is he good with trash talking?
That depends. He's pretty hit or miss, if I'm being honest, but he's going to say something. So.
He's obviously a locker room favorite. How's the team reacting to having Wayne back on the roster now?
Yeah, he's been great. I mean, Simmer, he's like family to all of us. Obviously, a guy that all of us have a tremendous amount of respect for, and a guy that has a tremendous amount of respect throughout the league. So, we all look at each other like family. Obviously, we've played with him for a couple years now, and he's an unbelievable teammate. He's the ultimate warrior, and he's a guy that'll do anything for his teammates. So, obviously, he's like family.
Auston, in that first home game, the fans obviously were chanting MVP. Not the first time that's happened. I'm wondering for you in the game, how do you process that? Does it amp you up more? Do you have to worry about not getting too amped up when they're chanting like that?
I just try to go play. I just try to stay kind of level-headed the whole time. I mean, it's obviously really cool, and you definitely get that excitement that goes through you. But at the same time, just try not to feed into that too much to where you kind of let it affect your game, and maybe the more of the structural side to it, and just not get too where you're kind of running around with your head cut off, kind of like that. So it's obviously really cool to hear that kind of stuff, but at the same time, just try to go out there and play and stay level-headed.
Auston, is it a conscious decision on your part to be a little more physical as you have in the opening 3 games here?
Yeah, I think so. I think towards the end of last season, obviously playoffs, you always ramp up the physicality and stuff like that. And so I think for myself, just trying to make it, more consistent throughout the year to be physical and kind of lead the way in that department, because then it's no excuse for everybody to do the same and finish checks and make sure we're doing that and making that a big part of our game.
Obviously, you don't want to see Matt go down, but what does this opportunity mean for a guy like Nick, and how good is it to see him join the team?
Yeah, I mean, all these guys, training camp is extremely competitive, obviously, a limited amount of spots, and, guys are competitive, guys want to be here, obviously, so, when the opportunity comes, I know guys are going to make the most of it and step up and do their part.
What's the feeling like through the team when Justin Hall gets a moment like he had there Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, obviously, he's a big voice in our locker room and a guy that, makes a lot of jokes. He's funny in there and keeps the room kind of light. So, anytime a guy like that kind of, scores a big goal, something kind of unexpected that, usually isn't his forte. Obviously, the boys get a pretty big jump out of that. And, it was a big goal for us and a really nice play all in all there.
Auston, you're 1 goal away from tying Matt Sandin for the most in this building, regular season playoff combined. When you hear that, what goes through your mind? Are you surprised you're already kind of in that spot?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that, so it's cool to obviously be in the same sentence as a guy like Matt Sandin, who obviously had an amazing career, but obviously what he did, as a part of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, it's pretty cool to hear that.
Auston, can I just ask about your relationship with Clayton Keller and how you responded to him after such a traumatic injury last year? You guys are tight.
Yeah, we're super tight. I was talking about him a little bit earlier, actually, but it's always tough going through a big injury like that. So, unfortunately, I went through something similar in junior. So, we chat a lot throughout the year. In the summer, we hang out a lot. So, I just kind of, try to be somebody to be there for him. Lean on myself for advice or whatever. Just kind of going through that. But he cares a lot and he works extremely hard. So, it was fun to hang out with him and be around him in the summer and see kind of his his process of coming back, and it just seemed to come back so quickly, and he seemed to kind of be more comfortable, with what happened and coming back from surgery, in a major surgery like that. So, I know one of his main goals was to play, make it by the time the season opened, and obviously he's doing that. So, no doubt he's going to continue to feel better and better, and I'm just happy to see him on the ice having fun again.
Surprised at the completeness of his game now. I mean, Andre's rating about he's the best penalty killer at this point now.
Yeah, I mean, his IQ obviously jumps out to me. I mean, obviously he's got all the skill in the world, but he competes extremely hard and he's very smart. So, similar to like Mitchie in a way where, he's obviously a top offensive guy, but just with the way he sees the game and anticipates the play, he's really effective on the penalty kill as well. So I kind of see similarities in that way just because of his IQ and his skill set as well.
You didn't have a ton of time to get up to speed coming in halfway. Just how's the mind reacting to the start of the regular season?
Feels pretty good. The time I got before was, and the games I got before was huge for me, and practicing's been going well. So, regular season has been good so far. I feel like, and still stuff to build into and get better at, but decent start to the season.
Is that the case for a shorter training camp for everybody?
Yeah, we'll see about that for next year. I'll have a talk with the coaches after, but no, I don't know. We'll, as I said, it's been a decent start to the season now, and still lots of stuff to build on, but nice to have it started.
What's the adjustment into the offside for you?
It was different in the beginning, but just playing with your stick on the inside the whole time, decent making plays. You want to cover the inside of the middle of the ice too, so you have to turn the other way, stuff like that. So it's been a little bit of an adjustment, but Gio's been helping me a lot out there, so I think it's been going well.
How does that help playing the guy that's been playing forever?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's easy to talk to. He gives you tips. As you said, he's been playing forever, so he's been playing on his offside quite a bit as well. So, he's giving me tips. He's talking a lot out there, so he just helps me lots, just on and off the ice. So it's great to play with him.
Sheldon was saying there was like a lot of discussion after the Montreal game, and obviously you guys have responded well. How would you describe what the room was like kind of before game 2?
Well, we really wanted to, show what we're capable of. First game wasn't close to what we wanted. Still some stuff in there that we thought we did okay, but lots of it we needed to get better at, and guys wanted to prove that. And since after the first game, I think we are starting to play lots better during the game. So still stuff to build on, but definitely on the way there.
Auston was saying he's made it a conscious effort to be even more physical this year, be a leader in that department. When you see him land a big hit, what goes through your mind?
I love it. It's a physical sport, and he's a big guy. So him using his body, he does everything on the ice. And for him, if he can throw a couple hits here and there, it's, with that kind of player he is, that shows everyone that, even if you're maybe not the biggest or physical guy, it's a physical sport, so everyone can use their body if he can do it. So it's great to see him throw some big hits out there.
Auston was talking about how Wayne Simmons is like family to you guys. What's the room being like now that he's back on the active roster?
It's great, and he's completely right about that. He's like family, so he's, he's one of a kind. Since the first day I met him, he, as a young guy, he's one of the older guys to take you under his wing. So I'm super happy to have him in the locker room again, and just super happy for him that he's back, and great for the rest of the team as well.
As a young guy, do you remember a specific point where he took you under his wing and helped you at all?
Just overall, from the first day, just for a young guy coming in, you're a little bit nervous. You don't want to, talk too much in the locker room or whatever. And he's just coming up, just checking in, seeing how you are, and talking to you, make you feel comfortable. So he's a special guy, and I'm happy to have him back in the locker room now.
What stands out to you about the way Eric Sheldon has approached this season?
He's been playing well. He's competing really hard. I haven't seen him that much in games so far, but in practice he's going really hard. He seems like he's really excited for this season as well. Proving everyone he's where he belongs, and just excited to have him back in the locker room now too.
What's the biggest difference between the Nick Robinson we're seeing this year compared to past years, do you think?
He seems more developed. He seems very ready for this season, and same thing there. He wants to prove everyone where he belongs, and what I saw from preseason, even though I wasn't here for very long, but he looked really, really good. It looks like he's been taking steps. He looks more stable out there, winning battles, competing really hard as they always have been done. So just excited to see him on the ice because he's a special player.
How much discussion has there been amongst the group about not stubbing your toe against some teams that are outside the playoff picture? Saw it a couple of times last year. Arizona comes in here; they're in a rebuilding stage. What sort of the discussion has there been about that?
Well, looking back at last year, we had some trouble with that. We lost a couple games that I think we should have won. And this year is another year to take steps in that certain area. So it's definitely been a discussion that we are capable to go into every single game and really, try to win for it and win the game. So this year we really need to try to take steps for it and try to win every single game. It's not going to happen probably. It's 82 games and it's tough to come out 82-0. So, but especially these these games where teams are outside of the playoffs or looking like they're going to be outside of the playoffs. It's early in the season. Everyone is ready to go. But it's definitely an area we need to take a step in.
You can see he's getting more and more comfortable every game, but I think with the way he skates and the way he moves the puck, it's obviously his strength, and he's been doing that here. So pretty good.
Auston was just telling us that he's made it a conscious effort to play a bit more physical this year, be a leader in that regard. I'm just wondering what goes through your mind when you see a guy like him lay a big hit.
Yeah, I think it means a lot. It goes a long way for our team when you see, obviously, our top guy laying the body like that, and he's, going back to last year as well. I thought when I came in here, that was a thing that I noticed for sure is his physical plays is a lot more now than what I remember playing against him. So it's nice to see. I think it's a big part of his game is stealing pucks and being physical and out-muscling guys, and does a great job of it.
Do you recall that happening another time in your career where a skill guy comes into the league and doesn't really have much body contact, but as he matures, he starts to?
Oh, I think it happens with most guys. I think you get more and more comfortable in the game, I think. But with Matty, I just think he's, his 200-foot game is really right up there with anyone. The way he, if you really look at it, plays well in his own zone, wins faceoffs, and plays physical. And we all know what he can do with the puck and offensively. So it's a great 200-foot game, and I think we as a team feed off of obviously moments like that when he throws big hits or steals pucks and things like that.
Yeah, when the fans are going MVP like they were the other night, that lifts you too there sitting on the bench?
Oh, of course. I think so. More importantly, like you see, I think it was last game he had a big block in the second there, and things like that. Sacrificing for wins is what it's all about.
You've been around the league obviously for a long time. This team last year stubbed its toes at times against teams that were outside the playoffs. Picture what's the mental grind like in making sure how hard is it to make sure you don't have that kind of depth in these situations?
Yeah, we gotta get to our game right away. I think, especially, this is game 4 in the season. We're not where we want to be as a team. We want to keep getting better and better. So, big game. I mean, you can't obviously take anyone lightly in this league. Everyone can beat anyone on any given night, and for us, it's about, we want to get to our game as quickly as possible out there.
Auston was talking about how Wayne is like family to you guys, and as a guy who came in midway through last year, is that the sense that you got? And
Sorry, who?
Sorry, Auston was talking about how Wayne Simmons is kind of like family to the guys in the room here, and as a guy who came in halfway through last year, is that the sense that you got, and how's your relationship with him kind of grown since you've been here?
Yeah, I mean, I've played against Simmer a long time in the league. I think he's obviously the ultimate competitor out there. He sticks up for his teammates, does all the things you want for a guy in his role, and the business side of hockey is tough sometimes, and it's obviously nice to have him in the room, and he's a big part of our team. He's, a guy like him is, with our group, I feel like a lot of teams say this, but we have a really tight group, and a guy like him being around and being in it is big.
What have you learned about Eric Shalgren?
Charlie's, going back to last year, playing in front of him, he's calm in there. He has a lot of confidence, and looks good in practice so far to me. So hopefully he can carry over from what I know of him. He's been really good.
Good morning. Nylander came in today feeling good. Didn't want to skate this morning, though. He feels like he's fine and ready to go, so he'll be in. Lineup is the same. Shalgren will go in net.
I guess you want to make sure that Shalgren gets some action in.
Yeah, that's really it. I mean, we're going to need him. So we have to get him in. We also have to be mindful of Samsonov's workload here. Today would have been his 3rd game in 5 nights, and he's going to be busy. So combination of Samsonov's workload needing to be managed and Shalgren needing to be in the net, because we're certainly going to need him, especially on the road trip that's upcoming, and that'll be a long time not playing. So all signs pointed towards him getting the start tonight.
How much of a temptation was there to use Nick tonight, given the way that he had camp and played for the Runners?
Yeah, there was a discussion for sure. Ultimately, just decided that the group that we've been going with here, especially as I spoke to yesterday about the accountability and the competition within the group, I think it just makes more sense for us to give the group that we've been going with an opportunity here now, knowing that there's guys here that are chomping at the bit to get in the lineup. So we want to see how our group responds to that. So we're going to give that group the opportunity tonight.
How do you feel Dennis has responded coming off a good camp? Obviously, you always talk about the competition getting better and better. What are you seeing from him through the first 3 games?
I think he's done a nice job. I mean, he scored a goal, a good goal in the first game. The most important thing I think we want to see from him on that line is when the puck comes to him that he can keep it moving. There's no break in the chain, if you will, and I think he's done a good job of that. Distributes the puck to those guys well. I don't think we were expecting him to be the guy that's carrying the line, or he shouldn't be the best player on the line. Those are 2 really good players that he's playing with that he has to complement. And I think I've been happy with what I've seen from that. But obviously, with Nick being here now, Malgin would be one of the guys, as well as the rest of the guys, especially lower in the lineup, that, there's people coming for their opportunity. And, obviously Simmons would be in that boat, as would some of the guys that are down with the Marlies. So we've got increased flexibility here now. And I think with that, there's opportunity for greater accountability within the group.
Auston was saying that he intends to play a more physical game. I'm sure you've seen it. Did you have a conversation with him going that direction, or?
Not specifically coming into this season, but it's something we've talked about at different times. It's a fine line for him, right? Because it's a long season, and he has a lot of contact that comes his way because he has the puck and he's dangerous and all these things. But he's a big guy that can skate well and gets on top of the puck and has an opportunity to assert himself that way. And I think it's just part of his growth as a player and part of his responsibility as a leader. I think whether it's him and how physical he's been, and the addition of Aston Reese and Obi Kubel and what they bring consistently with their physicality, you just see an uptick with our group there.
If you see that uptick, if the rising tide raises all ships physically, how will your team be harder to play against? And what do you see being the benefits?
Well, I mean, that's part of it, but I think it's all about the puck pressure. We want to be a team that's on the puck, and part of that is being physical because, you're skating through your check versus laying off a stride or two early that just generally relieves the pressure. We want pressure on the puck, and that finish, it's not even so much about the actual check to me as it is you skate one or two extra strides, and because of that, you're quicker onto the puck. And so that's a big part of it. And then, when you can finish the check, it's great. I don't get too caught up in the numbers sort of it. It's a really difficult thing to track, and I don't think there's a whole lot of consistency there, frankly, around the league, and night to night even. But just in general, we want to make sure our pressure on the puck is consistent.
Right toward the end of last regular season, Sheldon, you lamented the fact that you guys left some points on the table against teams that were below you in the standings. I mean, you can't beat everybody every game, but has there been a lot of attention this year against teams like Arizona, not to take them lightly, lower in the standings, making sure you guys play your best?
Yeah, well, first, I don't remember exactly where we finished, but I think there was a lot of teams that were below us in the standings last season, but I don't think we were bad against them all. But certainly, we want to be a team that, you can talk about respecting your opponent and all that. That's not what it's about for me, because it's the NHL, and we respect our opponents, we respect the players, and we've been through enough examples that show with our team or other teams that anybody can win any given night in the NHL. But we want to make sure we respect our process and who we are and how we need to play as a team to be successful, and we want to be consistent in that. So that's the messaging, is to not let up in that regard. That's why we were so displeased with our performance in Montreal, because that's not who we are. That's not the process we want to, how we want to play. So let's respect that. That's why you work all through preseason and camp and all of these things to be prepared for that. And we didn't do that in Montreal. It's been a much better representation of how we want to play in the games here since we've come home, and we want to see that continue tonight.
Understanding different things happen in the game, but do you go in with the target ice time for your big guys like Auston, John, Mitch, and William? And has that changed since you have more trust in your bottom six now?
Yeah, it has changed. It has changed for sure with the group that we have and how we have the lineup spread out here now. I do have targets in mind that I won't tell you, but for the most part, I've stayed within those. But the game happens, right? Like, you have targets and you want to manage the group and you want to have everybody involved. As I'm saying, because of the depth, we have a greater opportunity to use four lines and share a lot more of the responsibilities. But the game's going to happen. Some games there's going to be a lot of power play. Some games there's going to be a lot of penalty kills. Some games you're going to be chasing the game. Sometimes you're going to be leading. All of that is going to impact everybody's ice time. But for the most part, I want to really give everybody an opportunity to contribute and execute their role.
What impact do you hope that might have on Auston's ability to stay fresher and maybe be even more physical, as Kevin was alluding to, and had more offensive opportunities.
Yeah, that's part of it, for sure. Like, that's what I want to really see and manage, right, is how a reduction of minutes and some responsibility, can that help offensively, or is it counterproductive because they fall out of rhythm a little bit more and they're sitting on the bench a little bit longer and they're not getting, maybe they don't start every single shift after a TV timeout, as an example, which is something that they generally have done. So little things like that I have to manage, because I think that is part of it for offensive people, especially. You want to have real rhythm. You need to be on the ice consistently. So I've got to really manage that while also managing the fact that I think we're a deep team that has really clearly identified roles and players that can execute them. And we want to make sure we give value to that and give that opportunity to grow.
Nylander's shot volume was pretty high last year, but I know it's early days. The numbers even higher, at least come out of the gate this year. I'm just wondering what you're seeing in that regard when the puck's missed.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything necessarily. As you say, there was an uptick in that area for him last season. Obviously, he set a career high in goals last season as well. I think right from preseason on to the early going of the regular season here, he seems to be a guy, to me, that's shooting with purpose, and has great confidence in his shot. He shot some incredible pucks in the net in preseason. That only helps a guy's confidence and willingness to shoot, and that has continued here. So, that's a really good sign for us.
I understand why you wouldn't want to share publicly what your target ice time, but do you share it with the individual players?
No, not the specific numbers, just the knowledge that my intention is to use four lines and get more use out of our fourth line than we have in the past, whether that's at 5-on-5 or even on special teams with penalty kill specifically. You've got all of a sudden you've got Auston Reese on the fourth line. You've got Obe Kubel, who we're trying to get him more involved in the penalty kill too. He didn't do much of that in Colorado. Want to see if he can contribute there as well. So we're getting more minutes out of those guys in those types of spots, and Camp from last year from the third line position took on a lot of D-zone starts. Now the fourth line is doing it. So just naturally, they're going to get more minutes from them, and there's less minutes available for others. So that's something we've got to monitor. At times, I want it to be O-zone, D-zone starts. At times, like I'm saying, if the game just calls for it, Matthews is going to get some D-zone starts and stuff, just because, as a coach, it's not a good idea to pass them over too often. You just got to get them on the ice at times and let them sort it out from there. But I like the way our group is set up right now, and I want to give that some opportunity to grow.